It's time for another edition of Around the Mesa, presented by MRC. John Schaefer for GoAztecs.com, and I'm joined by the newest Washington Redskin, the former San Diego State Aztec, Keith Ismael. Keith, it is great to have you today. How are you doing?
Doing good, John. Thank you for having me.
Well, I want to start with what this past few weeks has been like for you. Take us back to draft weekend and then that Saturday and getting that call from the Washington Redskins. What was that experience like for you and your family?
It was life-changing. You know, we stayed down here in San Diego. I rented a place for some of my close family and friends. They made the trip out. And we just celebrated, the whole weekend. It was just a blessing that I was put in this position. We did the same things we always do. We cook, listen to music, have fun, spend time together as a family. And we just waited to see where God would put me. And so, the first 2 days were really stressful. I think for everybody, just waiting around, seeing guys get took before you. But it was also really fun to see a lot of my close friends that I made along this journey, this last, training, these last couple of months, see them get picked. Seeing a lot of the offensive linemen that I worked with get their call. And it was inspiring. I was happy for them. And it made me more excited to get my call. And so then, day 2 came along and I did get my call. Obviously, everybody was just a little bit on edge at that point, but, we just prayed as a family, woke up that next morning, just got together around the TV and just waited for that call. And, my agents thought, I was going to go to a certain place or a couple of teams. The Redskins weren't huge on our radar. And so as I was sitting around, I was actually talking to my dad at the time. And then my phone was sitting on my lap and it rung, and I looked down and I saw Virginia area code, and it was like second nature. I just grabbed this as soon as I could. No time wasted, and I got the call that forever changed my life.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Bye.
There you go.
Who is it? Who is it?
It was Washington.
Oh my God! Let's go! Oh my God!
Turn up, turn up. The pick.
Selection.
Yes.
What a really cool moment, Keith, for you and your family. Take us through that in terms of celebrating with your family. That looks very emotional. What was it like to be there with your family, with you at that exact moment?
Oh, man, I mean, I wouldn't want it any other way. My family, some of my closest friends, my biggest support group was there behind me for one of the most emotional days of my life. A true blessing. God put me where I was supposed to be. And, as you can see in the video, I was super emotional. Tears were shed. Lots of hugs after the fact. Lots of cheering, lots of celebrations. And, I played that scenario over and over in my head so many times. And, it unfolded the way it should have. The week before, I was kind of watching certain draft reactions just to get a sense of maybe what should I do? The camera's going to be on, people are going to be filming. I can't look, but emotions just were running high, and whatever the reaction was supernatural. And I was just super excited. I was kind of in disbelief, and, immediately my phone started ringing. Luckily, I did the smart decision and I got 2 different phones, one for, business calls and another for my personal. And so my personal, I just put away. And I got that call from Coach Rivera, said they're going to take me with the next pick. And then, I got calls from the offense coordinator, the offensive line coach. Immediately, I had an interview with their media people. It was a live interview, so there was several outlets, on the call, just asking me questions, how I'm feeling, thoughts going in my head. How's it feel to be the newest member of the Redskins?
So what do you think of the fit? You said you had a feeling maybe Washington was on the radar in terms of drafting you, but what do you think of the fit with yourself and the Washington Redskins organization?
I think it's great. Coach Rivera and the staff, they're new to the organization, but, going over the playbook, I got it last week, just having meetings with the coaches. a very similar mentality to San Diego State. Downhill running, that's what they want to do, A gap to A gap. And so, that's our MO. That's what I'm used to. Just getting down, the new verbiage and the new schemes, just there's extra responsibility added to my plate. I'm a center in the National Football League now, and so I need to know everything. So that's, going to get something I got to get used to, but I have time to learn it. So by the time, August rolls around, training camp comes, I'll be ready to rock and roll and compete for those spots.
What was most important for you when you made the decision to leave San Diego State after your redshirt junior year? And when you look back on your experience on the Mesa, how do you describe your time with San Diego State and your teammates?
The deciding factor was me graduating. First and foremost, my parents have always stressed academics first, academics over athletics. Coach Hunky Cooper, multiple times over my course at San Diego State, used to always tell not only me, but the guys, you got to think about 40 years, not just 4. And everybody knows football can be taken away like that. You could be in the game one day and the next day you're not. And so you got to be prepared for the next steps of life, after football. And that's where people, go wrong is they don't. And so I had to make sure that I had a degree walking out of there in hand, and that I could set myself up for when my playing days are done. But, overall, San Diego State was great. I don't regret the decision. It was the best 4 years of my life so far. It taught me so many things, and I met so many great people, made so many good connections, so many great memories on and off the field. San Diego's a great place to live too, sunshine and great weather. I'm not going to get that too often on the East Coast. It's going to be either extremely hot or extremely cold. So, something I'm going to have to get used to. I'm definitely going to miss this, this city for sure, this environment, but I'll be back.
What are some of your favorite football memories from your time in an Aztecs uniform? Does a game or two stick out?
Yeah, immediately the game that sticks out would probably be Stanford. 2017 when we played them at home. Fans rushed the field. That season was special. Even though we fell short of getting to the Mountain West Conference Championship, Rashad Penny, back-to-back 2,000-yard rushers. I was just around a lot of great players, a lot of good moments. A lot of history was made. I came in 2016 off that back-to-back conference championship. I traveled to Wyoming. I traveled to Laramie. I was around the guys. I was around, DJ. I was around Monte, Nico Saragusa, and that great offensive line. They taught me the ropes. They took me under their wing, and they showed me, how to play the game and how to be successful at the collegiate level. And so I was around a lot of greats. I could say maybe another one, even though we lost. I think one of my favorite games was playing in that Army bowl game. I think our offensive production was at its highest level at that point. And like I say, even though we lost, it was a fun game to compete at, and it was a great atmosphere. And, it was such a good time here with so many good guys. I made lifelong bonds, and it really is a brotherhood that I'll remember forever.
What about the opportunity to win back that rivalry trophy, the old oil can last year against Fresno State? They got you a couple of years. What was it like to get that one back last year?
Oh, man, it was great. That's definitely top 5. Whoever's watched that video, the highlights, me and Parker were the first 2 to run over to grab that can. It was really frustrating the last 2 years that we lost to them, and we went into that game with, I didn't know if it was going to be – I didn't know if it was going to come back that next year, so I needed to make sure that I walked out of there with that oil can and nothing less. And so it was an unbelievable moment, great team win, a great team effort, and it was good to stick it to the Bulldogs.
Keith, congratulations on what has been a very special offseason for you. Best of luck with the Washington Redskins, and thank you for taking a few minutes for us today.
Thank you, guys. Much love.